Hello and welcome back to MelTheBombshell. The item that I'm going to be reviewing with you all today is the Logitech Pro Wireless Gaming Mouse. Logitech says that this is the choice of pro gamers worldwide. They even give some logos of some pro gaming, esports teams over here. Logitech also states that this has the light speed technology that they're known for with their wireless 2.4 gigahertz dongle. They've got their Hero DPI sensor, it's supposed to be super accurate. And they've got 16.8 million color combinations, it looks like, for their light sync. So this mouse does go along with their light sync technology, which is Logitech's RGB and software control software on your PC that you can use to set DPI settings. You can use it to set RGB, you can use it to set audio on headphones. It's just their overall software, and this mouse does fit in with that whole family of accessories. So that is nice. Now this was already opened. I have been using this mouse for a bit, and I'm just going to give you an overall of my experience with the mouse so far. Now I do want to give a disclaimer that I'm not a professional mouse reviewer, nor am I a professional mouse tester. So I'm just going to give you my basic consumer or my basic gamer consumer opinion of this mouse and my use case with it. I also want to give a disclaimer that my hand size is pretty small. I've got smaller hands than most people my age, and that will be a large part of this review as the mouse is directly related to your hand size, your hand fit, and your hand preferences. So please take that into account as well. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into it. So here we are, we've got the Pro Wireless Logitech Gaming Mouse. When we open the box is just the slide off right here. When you get the mouse out of the box, there are some accessories in there, and I will tell you about those accessories in just a minute. But when you first get the mouse out, and I'm sure it's got some handprints on it, you see just a basic mouse format. So right here, you've got your nice curved edge, and the mouse overall feels really lightweight. It's super light. It's not nearly as heavy as even some of the wired mouses that I've used in the past. It feels quality, it feels bottom heavy, which is what you would want in a mouse. You wouldn't want your mouse to be top heavy, it wouldn't work as well. So the overall feel of this is great. The mouse is also very symmetrical in its shape. It's made for ambidextrous players or just in general for players that are both left-handed and right-handed, just to suit personal preference and to give everybody something that they can use. This mouse does a wonderful job with its symmetry and being comfortable in either hand. Now, I am right-handed, so that does play a part, I guess. It's not as form-fitted to a right hand. However, the mouse still is comfortable overall. The mouse also has these adjustable side buttons right here. You can see there's two side buttons on each side of the mouse. Now, the cool thing about these side buttons is that in the box with the mouse, there are customizable or swappable options. You can replace the side buttons to customize where you want extra buttons on your mouse. So technically, instead of being like a 6-button mouse that you would see usually, where you've got the 2 clickers, 2 side buttons, and then your scroll wheel and click down, this is more like an 8-button mouse because you've got those 2 extra buttons here that you can set to fit your preferences when you're gaming if you want an extra function right there in your hand. This mouse is very lightweight. It's super easy to move around. It glides smoothly. The gliders on the bottom are evenly placed to distribute that weight. Makes it feel symmetrical in the hand. You can easily move this mouse around, get that perfect aim, and its stopping points and starting points are very smooth and consistent and exact. Whenever we're discussing the overall shape of this mouse, I do want to point out that the size of this mouse is a little bit big for my hand. So like I said, I've got a pretty small hand. And if you look at the mouse size compared to my right hand size, the mouse almost takes up the entire area of my hand. I have very little room. My hand is barely longer than this mouse is overall. So I've used this mouse for both gaming and for just daily work like Word documents and PowerPoint presentations, things like that. This mouse does cause my hand to cramp up a little bit after a while, and I do find myself needing to take my hand off the mouse and stretching it out a little bit more than I normally do with other mice. So for a small-handed person, this mouse does seem to be a little bit big. Now this could also be partially due to my grip style of the mouse, and this large bulbous area at the top where it bumps up is a little bit too much for my hand, so it doesn't really fit comfortably, especially in long sessions of gaming or typing. Another thing I want to point out about this mouse is the texture. So the texture of the Logitech Pro Wireless is super slick. There is no texturing on the sides for extra grip. There's no rubberization. There's nothing like that. I think it's part of the reason that the mouse is so lightweight. However, the slickness can be a bit weird. So I like to have a good grip on my mouse, and where my hand is already a little bit small for this mouse, the slickness causes me to feel like I'm losing control. And whenever you're in a first-person shooter or a very intense game session, the last thing you want is to feel like you're losing control, especially when you're losing control of where your gun is pointing or where you're moving around. So I do wish that this mouse had pre-attached grip or pre-made grip to it. I know that I could get stickers and tape to put on the mouse to make it more grippy, but that's just extra money I'm having to put towards something that I already spent $80 on, and that to me isn't worth it. The texture on the whole mouse too is consistent, so every area feels the same other than the bottom. The bottom does have a different texture, but around the top where your hand actually touches, it's all the same. The scroll wheel does have a nice texture. The scroll wheel does feel nice. It does have a good grip. I just wish that there were more areas of that texture, of that grip difference across the mouse. I will say also, even the side buttons that the mouse has that are customizable to create extra functions have that same overall texture and feel to your hand, that same slickness. One thing in particular about having small hands with these side buttons is that they are a little bit toward the front of the mouse, like this top edge of the mouse, for my hand to be able to reach easily. So whenever I'm gaming, I have to pick my hand up a bit and reach forward to get those side buttons, just because my thumb isn't long enough to actually reach them comfortably. So where the mouse is so long overall, it really makes it difficult for someone with smaller hands to fully use all the functions of the mouse, to fully get a benefit from its design. So I just want you to be aware, if you do have small hands, that this mouse won't be comfortable if you like to use these two side button functions. Now, if you're somebody that would just take these off and prefers a standard just clicks and a scroll wheel, you're set. You can just take these off and replace it with the smooth side so that you don't have that extra button. Another part about the design that's not my favorite is the DPI shifter button is on the bottom. So I'm used to a mouse that has the DPI shift functionality. I'm always used to it being up here in between the two clicks. On this mouse, however, the DPI button here is on the bottom of the mouse. So if I pick my mouse up and my DPI is a little bit too high or too low for the game or the activity that I'm doing on my PC, I have to pick up the mouse, look at the bottom, and click that button. And I find myself going back to my old mouse where I could just click the inside. So if you prefer it on the bottom, that's a total bonus for you. But for people like me that prefer to have that DPI clicker on top, it's not the best. Probably my favorite thing about this mouse is the way it clicks. The clicks are very satisfying. You know what you hit, you feel exact, and the clicks are just immediate. As soon as your finger presses down, you get a click. There's none of that wobbliness or none of that extra gap in between where you press down and the actual click happening. It's all just immediate. That to me is a super nice thing to feel, and it's something that surprised me the first time I used it. I never thought that what I had didn't feel as nice, but since I've used this Pro Wireless mouse, the clicks of every other mouse that I own just feel sloppy and slow. When it comes to the overall performance of this mouse, I will say the Logitech Pro Wireless mouse has an amazing performance. Whenever I'm playing first-person shooters, this mouse is the most exact feel that I get. if I have my DPI already preset to what I know I want to use, playing at FPS is more pleasurable on this mouse with its responsive clickiness and with its super precise DPI sensor on the bottom compared to my other mice. And I will say that for the longest time, for over the past year and a half, I've mostly used a Logitech mouse. I use the Logitech G502 if you're aware of it. But this mouse just seems more precise. Even though they're the same manufacturer with Logitech, this mouse just seems that extra quality, that extra build, that extra preciseness that I don't feel in my G502. Now this mouse is very nice in shooters, which is my primary genre of playing. So if you're somebody that likes to play more CRPGs, or something that's not as fast-paced as the first-person shooter genre, you may not like this mouse. So most of my experience with this was just daily driver activities like I said, Word documents and things, and playing first-person shooter games. So if you're not into either of those things, this mouse might not have the same experience. But if you're somebody that likes to play first-person shooters, and that's one of your favorite genres, especially if you like to play competitive first-person shooters, I would suggest and recommend that this mouse would be pretty good for you because of the experience that I've had with it. I do also want to say that the battery in this mouse does last pretty well from what I can tell. It might be partially due to the fact that it doesn't have a ton of RGB, but the mouse's battery is pretty good. One thing that is not good that has to go with the battery is the recharging. And what I mean by this is the charger on this is a USB mini. So it's not your USB-C, the quicker and more updated version of a USB connection. It is the USB mini. So it's an older one, not as fast. So if you had this mouse wired, the connection wouldn't be as good as a mouse with a USB-C connection. So that's one thing that I don't like about this. Another part about the USB mini is that a lot of devices now are coming with a USB-C charger. So I would rather have devices that all use the same charger or the same cable type rather than one that has something different, because as we know, these cables can look very similar and it can just be aggravating in a time when you really need that charging cord and it's not immediately next to you. Overall, with the Logitech Pro Wireless mouse, I think it is a good mouse. However, I would not recommend it to everyone. This mouse will not be my daily driver mouse. I do plan on switching back to something that just fits my hand more comfortably. Like I said, this mouse is a little bit large for my hand size. However, if you have a larger hand than I do, which is likely, this mouse might be perfect for you. Whenever I started using this mouse, I was disappointed that I didn't like it more. For a high quality mouse, this mouse has an amazing price. It's $80. You get wireless technology, 2.4 gigahertz Bluetooth connection, adjustable DPI up to I think 16,000, onboard settings, and customizable buttons in an ambidextrous form. That is an amazing deal for $80. So whenever I started using this and realized that it wasn't made for my hand, I was pretty disappointed and I wish I could have liked this mouse more. However, just due to the overall form and hand feel for me personally, this mouse just isn't for me. So those are my views on the Logitech Pro Wireless Gaming Mouse. If you made it this far, go ahead and like and subscribe. And leave a comment down below on what mouse you prefer. You can also let me know in the comments what other videos you might like to see, or whether or not you like these reviews of different gaming accessories and gaming products, not only just video game reviews. With all that being said, I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again on this channel in the future. Bye!